Hi, everyone, and welcome to Sandra Cruz Unfiltered. My name is Sandra Cruz, and today I'm going to talk about the superpower of tears. Now, that sounds like a paradox, doesn't it? Because we're taught that tears are weak. Tears are meaning we're just being emotional, we're being too overly dramatic. But that's not true. Here's the thing, tears have a very specific purpose. When you cry or when you're about to cry, do you feel this pressure in your chest? Do you feel sadness maybe? Do you feel anger? Do you feel upset? Anything that's really pushing against your chest? And then you start to feel your eyes burning. And then the tears are just flowing and they won't stop. Some people can cry for days without end. But this is a powerful tool because you're releasing triggers, you're releasing emotions, you're releasing trauma when you're crying. It's one of the most amazing forms of release because the body knows when there is an emotional overload, and the body creates tears to catapult those emotions out. Because think about it, when you've been sitting at home for 2 hours crying crocodile tears, you couldn't stop if you wanted to. You couldn't talk if you wanted to. That's intense. But when you're done, you feel better, don't you? That's because the tears push the emotions out of the body. It's the same with when you eat something that your body doesn't agree with. Throwing up is the fastest way to get this food out of your system. It's not pleasant, as we know, but it's the fastest way. Tears always make us uncomfortable because we were taught that there's something to be uncomfortable about. They're a sign of weakness. They're not. They're a superpower. They can catapult emotions out of your body so fast. When I start working with my clients, I always offer them a free consultation. So we can get to know one another and they can see if they feel safe with me to explore their trauma, because trauma is something so personal. You have to feel safe with the person you explore it and release it. And almost all of them without fail, they cry. And then they apologize for crying like they're embarrassed about it. And I always have to explain to them, don't. I encourage tears. I say cry as often as you have to because it helps the healing process. So crying is an important part of who you are. It's not weakness. It's not being a drama queen. It's not being overly emotional. No, you're being triggered, and that trigger is being catapulted out of your body. And the fastest way to do that is crying, because the other option would be throwing dishes at the wall. And I think crying is the safer option. There are some people who have suppressed their trauma so much that they're not able to cry. Crying is being blocked by the trauma. Especially for men. A lot of women I've met who can't cry at the moment until they do. But they always say, okay, how can I release trauma if I can't cry? For them, I usually suggest get a punching bag and boxing glove and get to work, because boxing is also an energy release. It's a great way to get energy out of the body if you're unable to cry. Now, a couple years ago, I had a client and she was not able to cry. We worked through a trauma, worked on the traumatic incident reduction that I do. And it didn't even take 5 sessions, and she was sitting there bawling her eyes out for 2 days. And she said since then she was crying with no end almost every day, which means we restarted the process of crying. And it made her feel better so fast. because the tears carry the emotions out of the body that was still stuck there. We have been taught so many things that are so wrong in this world, and crying is one of them. We're being told to suppress our trauma, never talk about it. Just keep it hidden, live our lives, and deal with it. But the thing is, this only works for so long. I've talked about this before. At some point, there is that tower moment where everything comes rushing back. But no one is telling you about that. So cry it out. Don't let it get to this tower moment where you feel completely defeated, overwhelmed, and don't know what's up from down. Allow your emotions to be what they are. They're guiding you to what needs healing. The emotions are so important. Now, if you feel you're at a turning point and you're ready to heal, please reach out. Let's have a clarity session, a free consultation, and see how we can help you. To learn more about me and what I do, in the description below is the link to my website. If you would like to read my book, the link to it is also there. If you have a subject you would like me to cover, I also added my email address. Please reach out. Let me know if there's anything you would like to discuss. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. If this video was helpful to you, please like, share, subscribe. And always remember, trauma is not a life sentence. You have the power to heal. Bye.